Okay, go and open your book to page 340. So we're going to continue with techniques for factoring. So we're just going to continue with same as last time, but now you're going to have a number in front of the first term. So let's look at example 10. So you got 2x squared plus 7x plus 5. So notice there's a 2 in front of the x squared now. Okay? So you're going to do the same thing. Now you're going to add one more step. Okay? So when you're doing the cross, right? Okay, so 7 is still over here. But instead of putting the 5 over here, you need to multiply this together. Okay? So you need to put 10 over here instead. So not 5, but you have to put 10. This is called a master product. Okay? You multiply. Now before you don't have to do anything because when there's no number it's 1, right? So 1 times 5 is 5, right? So that's why you don't have to. So whatever you have, you just put over here. Okay? Because you actually have to multiply. But before there's no number, so 5 times 1 is still 5. That's why you just put down these two numbers. But now there's a number in the front of the x squared. So now you have to multiply. So remember that. So this is a very important step. So that's the only difference, right? So now again you go through the same thing. So 1, 10, 2, 5. So that's the correct one, right? Okay. So now again remember when you're doing the factoring, you're going to reverse of the FOIL method, right? So first you have to take care of is the FOIL method of f, right? The first terms. So to get 2x squared, you want to do x and 2x. You always put a big number in the back, okay? So that way you don't make a mistake, okay? So put the big number in the back. So now you have to figure out, okay? So you cannot just put 2 and 5 over here now, okay? You have to figure out the outside and the inside, okay? So you have to think, okay, so you have to remember this, one of this is inside, one of this is outside. So let's do the inside first. So 2 times something equal to 2. Yes, it would work, right? So this would be your inside, right? The FOIL method. So right now what we did the F. So we're going to do O and I. But you don't know which is O, which is I. So that you kind of have to guess. So 2 times something equal to 2. So yes, so this would be plus 1, right? 2 times 1 will give you 2. So that's the inside, right? This is the inside, okay? So now if this is the inside, then this must be the outside, right? So we have to do the outside. So outside is 1 times something give you 5. So it must be plus 5, okay? And that's it. Okay, so let's go over a few more examples. Okay, let's go to example 11. So you have to factor again. You need to go and arrange this in correct order first, right? So it's 5x squared plus 13x plus 6, right? So, but you have to go through your steps. Remember, every problem you have to go through your steps, right? So step 1, common factor. Can you factor anything out? No, right? So you go to step 2. Okay, 3 terms. You check for perfect square. Well, this is not a perfect square. So you go to step 3. But for algebra 1, we're not going to do step 3 because it's a cube. So you will know that when you get to algebra 2. Okay? So you go to step 4, master product, right? So every problem you need to go through the steps. So common factor, special factor, and then master product. Okay? So you're going to get 13. Again, do not put 6 because there's a number in front. You have to multiply. So it'll be 30. Okay? So you can just start with 1, 30. 2, 15, 3, 10. Now, if you know it's 3 and 10, you can write down 3 and 10 right away. You don't have to go 1, 2, 3. But if you don't see it right away, just go down the list. It's much quicker instead of try to guess. Okay? So 3 and 10 is a correct combination. So again, you do the x and 5x, right? So do the f. So now you have to do O and I. Again, you don't know which is O, which is I, right? So you have to guess. So you have to figure it out. Okay? So again, so you just go through the list, right? So 5 times blank equal to 3. Cannot, right? So you know that this is not it. So let's go to this one. 5 times blank equal to 10. Yes. So this has to be the inside. So 5 times 2, right? So 5 times 2 will give you 10. Okay? So that's the inside. So if this is the inside, this must be the outside, right? So outside. So 1 times blank equal to 3, so this must be 3, right? 1 times 3 give you 3, 2 times 5 give you 10, and that's it. Okay, so let's do a few more. Okay, let's go to example 12. you got 4z squared minus 3z minus 7. Okay, so step 1, common factor, cannot. Step 2, perfect square. This is not a perfect square, so it's not it. So let's go to step 4, master product. So negative 3. Okay, again, you got to multiply this number together, right? So it'll be minus 28. Okay, so again, you start with 1, comma, negative 28. 2, comma, negative 14. 3 cannot, so 4, comma, negative 7. That's it, right? Because 4 times negative 7 give you negative 28. 4 plus negative 7 give you negative 3. Okay? Okay, so now you go and do z and 4z, right? So that's the f. So now you have to do o and I, right? So again, let's do the inside first. So 4 times blank equal to, so 4 times blank equal to 4. Yes, it works out, right? If it does not work, you just do the next one, right? So 4 times blank equal to 4. So yes, so this is the inside, right? So 4 times 1 is 4. So that's the inside. So this must be the outside, right? Okay, so again, everybody remember what's inside, outside, right? This is the inside. This is the outside, right? The for your method. Okay. So the outside, 1 times blank equal to negative 7. So it'll be minus 7, right? So again, double check. 1 times 4, that's 4. 1 times negative 7 give you negative 7. So that's it. Okay. So the only difference is this, okay? That right now you have to multiply this to get this number because there's a number in front. Okay, let's go to number 13, example 13. You have 5x squared minus x plus 2. Okay, so step 1, common factor, cannot. Step 2, perfect square, cannot. This is not even a perfect square, right? So you go to step 4, master product. So this would be negative 1, and this would be 10. So now you have to use negative 1, negative 10, right? You have to do that in order to get positive 10 here and get negative number over here. So this one does not work, right? So negative 2, comma, negative 5 does not work. And after that, it's just reverse, right? Negative 5, negative 2, negative 10, negative 1. So none of this is going to match that. So when you go through the list, if none of them going to work, then that means this is not factorable. Okay? So that's why you want to go to the list, right? If you jump all over the place, then you don't know if you miss the one that you need or it's not factorable. You won't be able to tell, right? Okay, let's go to example 14. So you have 19xy minus 15y squared minus 6x squared. So what you want to do is, first you need to go and arrange this in correct order. Okay. So go ahead and arrange it so it'd be negative 6x squared plus 19xy minus 15y squared. So you have to arrange it alphabetical, right? xy come before yy, right? Y squared is yy, so xy come before the yy, right? So this is that. Okay, so step 1, common factor. So you want to avoid to have a negative in the beginning. So if it's a negative, you want to go and factor out the negative and number. So no number can be factored. So just go and factor out the negative 1. So you get 6x squared minus 19xy plus 15y squared. Okay, so go and factor out the negative. So now you can go and do step 2, perfect square. So this is not perfect square. So you go to master product. So negative 19, and this would be 90. Okay. So again, you start with negative 1, comma, negative 90, negative 2, negative 45, negative 3. Now, if you know the correct combination, you know, negative 9, negative 10, that's fine. But if you don't, you just go through the list. It's very quick. Okay. So 4. So when you get to 4, it's no good because 4 is twice of that. This would be half of that, so no good, right? So negative 5, negative 18, okay, negative 6, right? Again, you use this technique, right? This is twice as that, so this would be half of that, right? Okay, 7, 8. Now, if there's no normal 4, you cannot do 8, right? 9, so negative 9, so it'll be negative 10. So this is correct, right? Okay, so you follow it through. Okay, now, so 6x squared, right? You always break it down into the smaller and the biggest. So you got x and 6x, right? So 6 times blank equal to negative 9, cannot, right? 6 times blank equal to negative 10, cannot. So this one is not going to work. It cannot work for either one. But you have other options, because for 6, you actually can break it down into, instead of x and 6x, you can do 2x and 3x. Okay? So you start with the lowest and the biggest. And if it does not work, you go to the next one. Okay? So now that's going to work. Now, you always want to do the big number first. So 3 times blank equal to negative 9, yes. Right? So this would be the inside. So this would be a negative 3. Right? So 3 times negative 3 will give you negative 9. Okay, the outside. So if this is the inside, this must be the outside. So 2 times blank equal to negative 10. So it would be minus 5. Right? You can check. Negative 3 times 3 give you negative 9. That's the inside. The outside, 2 times negative 5 will give you negative 10. Okay? Now, what you want to do next is, also you need to y. See the y square in the back? In order to get y square in the back, you need to have a y here and y here. Okay? Now, normally you don't want to have a negative out here by itself. So negative is used to switch the terms for subtraction, because the subtraction is not commutative. So you can just switch the terms. Okay? The only time you can do that is using a negative. So you can use this to switch these. So if you multiply, this times this will give you minus 2x, right? You put in the back. So negative 1 times negative 3y will give you positive 3y. So you see how negative is used to switch the terms, right? And this one you don't have another negative to switch, so you leave it alone. Okay? And so that's your answer. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's go to example 15. Okay, so again, first you need to arrange this in order. So you're going to get a u to the 3 plus 10u squared minus 12u. So again, first arrange this in order. Okay, so again, when you do the factoring, don't go straight to master product. You have to go to step 1. Step 1, 8, 10, and 12, you can factor out the 2. You got u cubed, u squared, u, you can factor out the u. So that you have to do the step 1. So you can check, so you got 4u squared plus 5u minus 6. So step 1, common factor. Then you go to step 2, special factor. Okay, check for perfect squares. This is a perfect square, so that's good. This is not a perfect square, so it's no good. So this is not it, so it's not step 2. So you go to step 4, master product. Okay, so you got 5 and negative 24. Okay, so again, you can start with 1 comma negative 24, 2 comma negative 12, 3 comma negative 8. So by the time we get over here, you can see that the numbers are correct, but the sign is opposite. So what you want to do is, you can just switch the sign. So you can negative 3 and 8. Okay? Negative 3 and 8 will give you the 5, right? Okay, so follow it through. Okay, so you're going to get, so you do the u and 4u. Again, start with the lowest and the highest, right? So now let's go and do to figure out which is the inside, which is the outside. So 4 times blank equal to negative 3, no good. 4 times blank equal to 8, yes. So this has to be the inside. So it would be plus 2, right? Again, 4 times 2 give you 8. Okay, so if this is the inside, this must be the outside. So outside has to be negative 3. So that means has to be minus 3, right? 1 times negative 3 give you negative 3. So that's it. Because there's no more square, so you're done. Okay. Okay, so let's continue on with next example. Okay, let's go to page 344. Okay, let's go to example 17. Okay, again, first you arrange this in correct order. So negative x squared plus 2x plus 8. So notice negative is part of your term. But you don't want to factor with a negative in front. So that's going to factor the negative 1 first. Okay, so that's your step 1. Now you go to step 2, perfect squares. This is not a perfect square. So you need to go to step 4, master product. Okay, so again, you start with 1 comma negative 8, no good. 2 comma negative 4. So this is it, right? 2 times negative 4 give you negative 8. 2 plus negative 4 give you negative 2. So this is it. Okay? Okay, so let's go and do that. Now, there's no number in front. So whatever you see is whatever you get. So plus 2 minus 4. Okay? But now you have to deal with this. Again, you don't want to have a negative 1 by itself in the front for the final answer. So remember, negative is used to switch subtractions. Okay? So I'm going to use this one to switch these. Again, if you don't see that, what you do is go and multiply. Okay? So negative 1 times x is negative x and put in the back. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. So you can see that negative is used to switch the subtractions. Okay? And that's it. Okay. Okay, let's go to example 18. Okay, you got 9x squared minus 12xy plus 4y squared. Okay, so again, step 1, common factor, cannot. Step 2, perfect square. Okay, this is a perfect square, perfect square, perfect square, perfect square. So this could be step 2, right? So let's double check if it's step 2. Okay, so to get 9, I need to have a 3, right? 3 squared give me 9, right? Right, from here I need to get 3x, right? X squared give me x squared, right? So this one will give me 2, this will give me y, right? To match the middle, because it's minus, I need to have minus, right? Okay, again, all I'm doing is just guessing right now. I need to check if my guess is correct. So to guess, to check your guessing, you need to check if the middle term match, right? So sign is negative, okay, good. The number 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, okay, good. The alphabet x and y is good. So everything checks out. So that's your step 2, perfect square. Okay, so make sure you do this first. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go and do some practice.